Hi everyone, I'm back again. I'm going to try this again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make two different videos. In one video I'm going to show you how to cut all of your pieces for one of these travel journals and how to get it all ready. And then in the second video I'm going to show you how to put it all together and finish it off. These are just some examples of how you could decorate your covers. You know, you can stamp them and then ink them. You can cover them with tissue paper using matte medium. You can spray them with alcohol inks and let them dry completely before trying to put them together. But all of these ways work. The ribbon I use is Hug Snug. You could use any ribbon you wanted to use. Alright, so let's jump right in. So for your journal, you're going to need some mixed media paper. And I use the Strathmore 9x12. You'll need 2.5 sheets. So basically, out of one book, you can get 6 of these. So tear out 3 sheets. And depending on how you want your journal to look, depending on whether you want these torn edges or whether you want to cut them is up to you. On one sheet, you want to cut right down the middle to make your cover. So you're going to cut it at 4.5. Alright, and this will be our cover piece. On your other 2 sheets, if you're wanting to tear them, you're going to get out your scoreboard. You're going to score them at 4.5. And then turn and score it at 3, 6, and 9. You want to do both sheets that way. Then you will fold it in half and fold it back and forth a couple times to make it easier. Alright, and then you will tear it in half just like that. Each one of these halves will become a signature. So now on this one, on that 6-inch mark, you're going to do the same thing. And then tear it. You can cut these as well. So now you have these 2 pieces, right? Stack them on top of each other and fold them. And that's one signature. So once you do that to these 2 sheets of paper, you will have 4 signatures, and these are cut. That's why I showed you the torn edges, because the one I'm working on, they're cut. See, the smooth edges. But I have 4 signatures, and each signature is 2 pages. Okay? So that's my pages. Set those aside. Now I'm going to show you how to score this cover, but I of course already have one made for today. So you're going to set it on here, 12-inch side that way, and you're going to start at 1.5 and score, and then at 4 5/8, 4 3/4, 4 7/8, and 5 1/8. So you should have 5 marks right here, starting at 4 5/8 and ending at 5 1/8. Then you're going to skip down to 8 3/8. Alright. 8 1/2. 8 5/8. 8 3/4. And 8 7/8. So again, you will have 5 score marks, starting at 8 3/8 and ending at 8 7/8. Okay? So you'll have 1 score mark here. You want to fold that in. You'll have 5 here. Only fold the outside 2 score marks. Okay? Like this. And then same thing with these 5. It's okay if the other ones bend, but you just don't have to. So now we have our cover. Now you would decorate your cover however you wanted to decorate it before you went any further. Okay? Put this up out of the way. In my case, I have inked my cover, stamped it. I stamped it first and then I used Distress inks to color it. Okay? Alright. So once you get it to this point, you've got your cover ready. You've got your pages ready. Now we need to make our pockets for the inside. And your pockets can be whatever you want to use. I use cardstock that matches however I decorated the cover. And I'm just going to show you the different things you're going to need to put this together. I've already have mine cut, but I'm going to show you all of it. So this one, you're going to cut it 6.5 by 6 7/16. Alright, and then on your 6.5 inch side, you're going to score it at 1.5 and 6. Okay, then you want to turn it with that 1.5 inch side up top and score it again at the 1/2 inch and 3.5 inch. And what that is going to be is this folder right here. And the reason it matters that you turn your 1.5 inch up on the top is because you want the big flap to be towards the center of the book. You don't want to put that together on the little 1/2 inch flap. Alright. So then you will take a pair of scissors and you want to cut out this little corner down here. Just like that. I cut mine at an angle. And cut over here and trim this bottom part off. Use your score lines as a guide. Because if you're like me, cutting straight is not your strong suit. Alright. So now it looks like this. I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to cut this at an angle. And cut this little flap off. This is the most complicated pocket. The rest of them are very simple. Alright? And then I want to cut this flap off right here. Again, just using your score marks to keep your cut straight. But cut to the inside of the score mark. Don't cut on the score mark. Alright. Okay. Turn that little piece off. So I didn't cut quite all the way over. And I ripped my little pocket. Can't have that. Now, so now you have that. So what I do is I take my little tab punch from We Are Memory Keepers, and I will punch a tab right here. Okay, sorry about that little blip. My daughter came home to get her puppy for lunch. Okay, so after I've cut a tab here, I will round my corners. I have several different corner rounders. Just use whichever one you like. I bought this one and liked it, but I can't quite get the corner straight unless I hold it upside down. Okay, so now I have my pocket. I'm gonna flip it this way. I'm gonna fold this up and fold this in. Okay, and I will take score tape. I'm going to put a piece of score tape here. And we're not putting this pocket completely together yet. Just put your score tape down. Don't put it together. It's just easier to put the score tape on it before you put it in the book. Now, another thing I do is I will use Tyvek. So this pocket's going to go in your book like this. And this is what I was talking about earlier with the flap on the top. You want this side to be what goes in your book, not this side. So, since this is cardstock, it's a little bit flimsier than your mixed media paper. So in order to strengthen this, I will use Tyvek. Now Tyvek is sold in these big envelopes. You can usually buy them at Office Depots, Staples, anywhere that sells mailing supplies. Okay? I cut 4 pieces because I've got 4 folders. Oops. Can't find it. It's here. Just gotta find it. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'll cut 4 pieces of Tyvek at 1.5 by 4, and I will score each of them at 3/4, which is basically just right down the middle. And then I put score tape on the back, and I put score tape all the way across. Okay? So now I'm going to take one of these pieces of Tyvek, take my score tape off, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of this pocket. Just like that. Just to strengthen it. Okay? Now in this particular pocket, it is easier to punch the hole without it being stacked together. So I use a We Are Memory Keepers hole punch on the 3/16 side, and I set it at 5/8 of an inch. And I will punch, not poke, a hole on the spine. Alright, and now I want to do the pages for that one as well. So I'm going to stack my 2 pages together. And you will see when I do the other ones that I just stack the pocket in it and then punch the holes. But on this one, your little flaps get in the way. Alright. Okay. So now our first signature is done. And you will have to recrease this once you put that Tyvek in there. Alright. So I'm just going to set that over here out of the way. And I have this clip, which is going to come in very handy later, that I'm going to use just to hold that together so it doesn't flop all over the place. Okay. Now, our next pocket. This one, you're going to cut at 4.5 by 7.5. Okay. 4.5 by 7.5. And then you're going to set it on your scoreboard on the 7.5 inch side and score it 3 and 6. Very simple. And then you will just fold it together, just like that. Alright. Then again, I will take my tab punch and punch it here. And my corner punch. And you don't have, this is completely optional. You could use a decorative corner punch on this as well if you wanted to. Alright. So again, I'm going to take my Tyvek and put it in the center of that pocket to strengthen it up. This is an awkward angle for me because usually I'm right on top of my work. Alright. And then again, I'm going to prepare this, but I'm not going to take the score tape off. So I'm just going to put a piece of score tape here and here. Alright. So it looks like this. Okay. Then I'm going to get another page out. I'm going to stack them together, making sure all of my folds are together. And again, I'm going to punch my hole. Alright. So now this one's ready. I'm going to add it to this. Alright. Then your last 2 pockets are both the same. 4.5 by 6. And you're going to score them at 3 inches. Fold both of them in half. And you don't have to score them. You can just fold them in half if you would like. And then I tab punch them. And I'm going to put all of these measurements and everything down below. They'll be in my blog. So I'll make sure I have links for all of that down there so that you can print out your measurements. Okay, now on both of these I want my Tyvek. And the Tyvek is completely optional. I have a tendency to overdo things sometimes. I just want to make sure that this thing is not going to rip when somebody tries to use it. Okay. And again, I'm going to use my score tape. I'm going to put a piece here and here. These little journals are a lot of fun to make. And you can make them in so many different ways. You can watercolor them. I have one that I watercolored. I stamped it and then watercolored the flowers on it. That was a lot of fun. And you could do just about anything you want to do with these. Alright. Now, these last two pages, I'm going to do the same thing I did with that last one. I'll stack them together. Punch a hole. Yep, I knew that had moved. I don't know why it moves. I lock it down, but it just still moves. Alright. So you might want to check yours from time to time, make sure it's not moving on you. Because you want these to be lined up just right. Alright. Okay. Alright. Now I will, because I typically make two of my pockets one color and two another color. So I will stack these and offset the pockets. Alright. Now, set that to the side. Now we're back to our cover. So we're going to get our cover ready. And then I'm going to stop this video and move on to the next one where I'm going to show you how to put all of this together. Alright, so lay your cover with a little 1.5 inch flap on this side. Okay? On that 1.5 inch flap, run a piece of score tape just to the score line. Just like that. This is going to become a pocket. And one of the things I like to do with all of my pockets, a little trick I learned watching all these many different videos on YouTube, is I will take a bead of glue and run it down next to that score tape so that my tags will not stick to that score tape, because it can happen. Okay, and then I'm just going to stick that down. So that becomes a little pocket on your inside flap right there. Okay, so from the pocket, the first set of 5 lines, that is your binding. So you want to, in the center of those 5 lines, punch your holes just like you did on your pages. Okay. Alright. For the inside back of this, I have cut a piece that is 2 by 5.5, and then on 3 sides, the 2 short sides and 1 long side, you want to score it at 1/2 inch. Okay, and then cut your corners out. Alright, so now you have this little flap here. You have this one. And you have another one here. Okay. So with the outside the pocket facing me, I'm going to put score tape on each of these flaps.